Hello, and in this video I'm making a double mini roundabout. So a double mini roundabout is basically two roundabouts that are very close, almost combined with one another to form two roundabouts. Sometimes there is a very small connecting road between the two roundabouts, and sometimes the two roundabouts are literally touching one another with yield signs in the middle. But it would be, I think, possible to do such a mini roundabout in game where they are basically touching, but I didn't do that with this one because I thought that even this type of roundabout would be fairly difficult because of how close all the nodes are and how close just everything is to one another. But it actually turned out fairly decently. The only problem was with the lane markings, like the arrows on the road, and the way people took the roundabout. What I should have done is had a single lane for traffic to drive on. As it was, I used both of them because it just felt more realistic. Not to have two lanes of traffic, but to have them driving on just more around the roundabout, because the roundabouts tend to be like there's a big open area of tarmac, so they tend to just drive in the middle of that area. But since you can't really do that with this two-lane road, they have to drive on one lane or the other. I enabled both of them. If I were to do this again, I would simply allow only probably the outside lane to be used. Probably. I mean, I may have to look at it and tweak it some more, but other than sometimes the cars entering the roundabout when there is another car there and like hitting the car in-game, obviously there's no hitting going on, but that's the only problem with this double roundabout. But it actually works. I mean, it works alright. I'm not sure it can handle the amount of traffic it can in real life compared to in-game, where I don't know, roundabouts are always funny in City Skylines. They don't always work as intended, especially even with the traffic president, when you have the yield and the entering a lane if there is still a vehicle present in the lane. Even with all this, they just don't work as well. They either yield too much, or they don't yield enough, or they hit other cars. I don't know. It looks nice though. I mean, it could be used in a fairly low trafficked area, low populated area, where just four roads are meeting one another instead of having a crossroads. It can handle probably more than 4. It could probably handle 6, 7, probably. So as you can see now, here I am trying to work out the middle, marking, because on a mini roundabout there is a central dome or painted area that can be slightly raised that dictates the center of the mini roundabout. Now there is a really great asset on the workshop that is called a mini roundabout asset, and that's where I got the arrows from. But the only problem is it doesn't work in game because you can only place it on a road, which doesn't make very much sense because you can't really make mini roundabouts with just roads. There's always this curve in the middle, or this pavement area that I'm covering up now. It's always there, it's always just in the way. So what I end up doing is using the white lines and just creating a circle from that sort of thing. It turns out to look quite nice. The only problem is the raised pavement area in the middle, but there's not much I can think to do about that. Like, I don't really know how it would how I could fix that. because even with the national roads or the highway assets that are from network extensions too, I think there's still a problem with the curves, and then you also get a problem with them meeting other roads because of the asphalt decal mod. The way it works, there's two different decals for this type of road here, with the road sunk in, and with the national highway, which is flat on ground level. So where they meet, it does weird stuff to the decal mod, and it doesn't look great. I mean, I could have used maybe all of the same type of highways, but the problem is you don't get these like 2-lane one way and 1 lane the other way, so you can't do the entering the roundabout layout very well. But other than that, it turned out quite well. It turned out quite nice. And at this point, I'm looking at roundabouts online, seeing they've got a very like darker line to dictate the center of the road, or so that traffic knows that this is one side versus the other. So what I do is use a very thick white line decal and just go over the existing bike lane ones and add it slightly thicker, and it adds a lot to the look. I wasn't expecting it to look as good as it does with just adding this simple thicker decal, but it ended up looking a lot better with the thick decal. So the general gist of the surrounding area is a small town. There are some shops on one side, there's a school on the other, and there's residential buildings surrounding the entire area. So what I do is I go through lightly detailing the area with buildings, and in this area I detail the shopping area just minimally with a small tile decal on the floor and some planters just to separate the shopping place from the road. So there isn't really much more to talk about in this video. So as I normally say, I'm going to let the time lapse run. I detail the surrounding areas a bit, I add a school, I finish up some residential by adding just some fences and bushes and trees, and I finish the back area behind these shops. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.
Yeah.